Hi everyone, welcome to Confrontation Points video Snark. This video series isn't an audiobook, it's designed as commentary. This series emphasizes reading and listening comprehension skills. My focus is on reading books, identifying areas that miss the mark, and suggesting ways that they could be reimagined. I'm continuing my read-through of Chromatic by Ashley Bustamante. If you haven't seen the earlier videos, you can find the links below. Chapter 25. Elma and Ava obviously try to flee before the doors open to reveal whatever horrors are kept behind them, but then a bunch of benefactors and mentalist children show up. The children, they're super creepy. The narration calls them robotic, which is kind of leading me to the opinion that they're being mind controlled by somebody else. Although they try to fight, they're obviously outnumbered and overpowered. Ava also realizes that the power from their gems is drained, leaving them completely gray. Then Jaden shows up, because of course he's in charge of this new push for dominance. He tells them that he only needs one of them in order to power this new battery for the city, and that he'll kill the other one. However, despite all of this, Ava asks what'll happen to the children, that they're only useful right now because they still need yellow magic to power things. If they're hooking people up to batteries again, then the children might end up being disposed of. And it's not so much that you shouldn't have empathy for others, but my problem with this is that Jaden is literally threatening to kill one of you and forever imprison the other. Maybe focus on yourself for now. Ava then begins to gather up every last bit of red energy around them. She then basically yeets Elm up and over the top of the stadium with her orange magic to fortify him both physically as well as mentally. She then braces herself to fight. Hi everyone, welcome to Confrontation Points video Snark. This video series isn't an audiobook, it's designed as commentary. This series emphasizes reading and listening comprehension skills. My focus is on reading books, identifying areas that miss the mark, and suggesting ways that they could be reimagined. I'm continuing my read-through of Chromatic by Ashley Bustamante. If you haven't seen the earlier videos, you can find the links below. Chapter 26. Although Ava fought hard, she was outnumbered almost to the point of it being comedic. She also felt somehow compelled to continue to fight, even long after she'd been badly injured. Now she's chained up in a room somewhere. She overhears Jaden talking to somebody on the, I want to say phone, but that somehow doesn't feel right. I'm not sure that a singular phone has been mentioned so far. He's talking to somebody not currently there, so we only hear what he says. Jaden promises to wait for this other person, possibly Celine, and then comes into the room. He takes her from the room and she realizes that they're still in the stadium. When she asks what this place is used for, he says experiments. At first I was wondering about eugenics, but then I realized that it was those freakish body mods we saw earlier. As he continues to take her along, she sees evidence that this is nothing but a mad scientist's lair. He cheers her up and says that he's under orders from Celine to heal her, that whatever they plan to do to her might not work if she's in rough shape. After a while, he comes in with a healer who seems surprised to see that it's Ava. Jaden instructs the healer to not talk to Ava and to tell nobody about this. As the healer goes to work, she introduces herself as Laila. She says that she worked under Dr. Iris, although seems hesitant to label her mentor as a traitor. The poor girl seems to be at odds with what her bosses have told her versus what she herself knows to be true, which is that Dr. Iris is a good, kind, and honest person. Ava presses her to find out more info about who Laila is as a person. Since she's around Elm's age, aka a few years older than Ava, she asks if Laila has any mentalist friends. Laila tells a story about playing with a little girl on her street, that one day the girl used mentalist magic to make an illusion during pretend. It was in the middle of the Canary War, so Laila freaked out and stopped being friends with her. But upon Ava's prying, Laila admits that nothing about her friend had changed, only Laila's perception of her, and she now acknowledges that maybe that makes her a bad person. Changing gears, Ava asks Laila to tell her as much as she can about what this place is and what it is specifically that they do there. Laila says that they're doing experiments. They're under orders from Celine, that people often come to her with injuries and deformities that she can't heal, which is exactly as I had predicted, but it was kind of obvious. Ava is exceptionally relieved to find out that Laila has never seen a child there. Even though Celine has been grooming them since they were little, at least there's some lines that not even she wants to cross. They might be tripping over that particular bar, but still. She tries to find out if Laila healed others earlier, but Laila only says that there were some benefactors involved in a big fight, which doesn't really tell Ava anything about if Elm or Sammy were able to get away. Before Laila leaves, Ava tries to find out if she knows anything about what Ava's fate might be, but it's apparently above Laila's pay grade. She apologizes and leaves. If you're interested in reading my own stories, you can purchase my spicy short stories as well as 2 full-length novels on Amazon. I also frequently run flash sales on my stories. If you're not already following me on Reddit, I recommend doing so to stay updated on when I offer free content. Reddit is currently the only place where I'm advertising myself these days. Chapter 27. As Ava awaits her fate, voices start to come from her pockets. These absolute units of barrel-scraping IQ points didn't even search her. On the bright side, Ava now knows that Elm and Sammy managed to get away. But the downside is that if somebody were to come in and find the butterfly, she'd expose all of the rebels. She tries to dislodge the butterfly from her pocket, but can't do much without the use of her hands. In the end, she risks further injury to herself to use a bit of magic to destroy it. The cuffs that chain her to the wall do shock her, but she's relieved that at least the butterfly was damaged. Jaden comes in and mocks her for trying to use magic, but then immediately jumps into how he can do whatever he wants to her now. I am once again thankful that this is a clean series and that we don't have to talk about the implication of what he'd like to do to her. Ugh. Mercifully, Celine shows up and chews Jaden out for even thinking about touching her, although she then starts talking about how she's planning to use Ava in order to hurt Elm, and carrying on about this as if Ava isn't a few feet away from them. Finally, Ava asks what they plan to use her for. Celine says that they're going to try out something else to power the barrier. And then this moron asks about the mentalist children if they'll no longer be useful. And it's like, this isn't empathy at this point. This is pure stupidity. Worry about yourself, please. Although Jaden says that the children will be disposed of, Celine is quick to dismiss him for speaking out of turn. She says that with how loyal that she's groomed them to be, they would make good servants to her. Celine goes on to say that they'll hold off on turning on this new Ava-powered barrier for now in the hopes of luring Elm out. She also suggests that they should rig it up to also put Elm in there as well. However, when Jaden protests that the machine was only designed for one person, it's a little obvious that he doesn't exactly think highly of Celine. Patreon has recently introduced free memberships. By joining, you'll be able to enjoy the same content I post on Tumblr, now conveniently available on Patreon. Patreon supporters can enjoy even more books starting at only $1 a month. Plus, Patreon now offers a 1-week free trial. Don't miss it. Big shout out to Phoebe for supporting me on Patreon already. Also, huge thanks to Josh and Mark for making a one-time donation. If you want to hear your name in my video next week, either support me on Patreon or make a one-time donation. Chapter 28. Ava is shocked for about 24 hours before Laila is brought in to tend to her. However, the healer forces Celine to unchain Ava and let her arms down for fear of blood loss to the limbs. As she's being tended to, Ava unloads on Celine. Says that the barrier and whatever Celine is doing to it is what's causing all of this nonsense instead of Magnus. Celine laughs and says that the problem must always have been around, which is a bizarre thought to have considering the fact that don't remember any freakish late spring storms before Celine went batty. Then again, I think that the barrier has only been up since the Canary War, so who knows what the long-term effects of it have been. Celine then shows Ava a blue sunflower and claims that it's somehow proof that she can completely remove all yellow things from nature. This is the yellow scrambled eggs thing from the first book all over again. Does the author know that sunflowers can also come in reds? I'd also like to add that breeding a new strain of sunflowers is hardly proof of anything other than Celine's botany prowess. Ava then tells Celine about having met Porter, that she can't hide her misdeeds forever because he's been keeping track of her. Celine gets really angry and demands to know where Porter is. For a moment, Ava is worried that she's going to be hit, but Celine instead punches the wall and then storms out. But for a brief moment, Ava swears that Celine seems sad rather than angry. A few days pass in which Laila comes in every once in a while to feed Ava and let her tend to what the book refers to as human needs. At this point, Laila comments that Ava appears to be rapidly losing weight thanks to malnutrition. When Celine comes in, she says that she doesn't really care about that, but does give Laila the key to unlock Ava's shackles. As Ava is walking around to get the blood flowing before Laila takes her blood pressure, an earthquake hits. Celine demands that Laila needs to lock Ava up so that they can go help the others who might have been impacted during that. However, Ava can't help but call Celine out that these earthquakes are the end result of whatever insane experiments that Celine has been conducting, and boy, she does not like being called out like that. But as Laila puts Ava back into the shackles, she warns Ava that she has to wait until the time is right. Ava also swears that Laila didn't properly lock the shackles. Wink wink. I wonder who got to Laila if she woke up against this tyranny on her own. Ava is anxious to test to see if the shackles weren't closed properly, but again, she knows that timing is everything. Jaden comes in as he usually does to basically mock her. However, not too long after he shows up, Celine comes in and starts yelling at him for sexually harassing Ava. Say what you will about Celine, but at least she's not allowing that to happen. However, it seems as though Jaden has reached the end of his patience about Celine's actions. He says that she's too hung up over her history with Ava, that there hasn't been any sign of the rest of the rebels, that at this point they're simply wasting time. Celine agrees and says that they'll put Ava into the machine tomorrow. Ava knows that if she can't escape tonight, then she'll likely die in there. thanks for watching. New Book Snark videos go live every Monday with occasional extras during the week. Your support means so much, even if it's not financial. Watching my videos, subscribing, and liking and sharing them with friends all go a long way in helping my channel grow. If you've already caught up with all of my videos, you can go to Facebook, WordPress, Tumblr, or free on Patreon for my main Book Snarks, always free and updated every morning. A link tree for everything is posted below. See you next week, guys!